understanding between striker and winger, understanding the movements. And I understand it's only been 3 games, but training every day, you definitely need to know what your striker is, what your striker moves, and where all he likes to move. And then you whip those balls in, knowing your striker will get at the end of it.
Tough season so far for Bryson. He's shown his brilliance in bursts. Hasn't been lucky in front of goal. He'll be hoping that he doesn't join a list of emerging players who've had a difficult next season. There's a little bit of a trend that has happened for quite some time now, and we're all hoping it doesn't follow him around.
Definitely not. I think he's a confident player, but one thing that's against him is time. That's for sure. And in a season that's even shorter at the moment, he needs to be firing all guns blazing. We always heard good things about Bryson from his teammates as well, saying he's always there, always wanting to learn, always willing to learn. The willingness to learn is important, but also believing in your own abilities is also something that he needs to understand and agree of. If I can do it for one season, I can do it over and over again. But that takes hard work and a brilliant work ethic. If that's missing, it's not going to go anywhere for him.
First real foray forward from Goa. Good start for Bijoy Verghese as well at centre-back, you think, alongside Pablo Santos. He's been quite solid.
Again, I think it helps him that he's playing with the wealth of experience of Pablo. Brazilian just helping him out, the communication being the key factor between the two, helping each other, understanding each other. And that's great to see from a physical centre-back pairing, and then you add Oat into that as well. So this is not a defence, when you is short of physicality. And that's something that's helped Panjab FC, because they know the strikers and the midfielders are confident that our defence, physically strong, will cut out more attacks than you can even think of for some teams.
Tavora. Now Bryson. Just trying to feed that ball forward for Ishan Pandita. Needed a better angle on that. And Bijoy possibly got the last touch. Wasn't enough pace on the ball for him to protect it from Pandita, who did well to not let go.
Cleverly done from Ishan Pandita, not giving up that chance. A hopeful ball down the channel. Bijoy just following it out, but the ground obviously slowing the ball down, and cleverly enough, Ishan Pandita winning the first corner of the game for Fc Goa.
Drazic takes lofted towards the far post, where there was not a single white shirt, slightly surprising. Everyone huddled very centrally.
Wasted opportunity for Fc Goa, definitely. With the ability that Drazic had, you'd be hoping that the ball whipped in is better. Sandesh Chingan also present. Paul Moreno, who already has a goal to his name, was in there.
Ball just creeping out of play. A decent partnership forming between Lungdim and Kipchen as well. Even in the last game we discussed the amount of talent that Dil Paris has to choose from, especially out wide. It's a different wing pairing in every game, and that's something that he would also want settled eventually.
Yes and no. I think it's competition on the wings, and that's really important. The hardest working wingers and fullbacks that have the best understanding amongst each other should be playing. And yes, early days in the game with only 3 games down for Punjab, and as the time goes on, I'm sure Dil Paris is another coach who loves a great work ethic, and the hardest working winger soon enough will be playing consistently, I guess.
Good combination play earlier between Effiong and Ramirez, who just couldn't take it in his stride. Promising start from Leon Augustin as well, as we just look at Wes giving away this free kick.
There's that physicality we were speaking about for Lasla Wes, not giving up any kind of space for Udanta to use his space and take him on, making sure his face is towards his own goal, Udanta. Just if it's a tackle that has to be made inside the FC Goa half, I'm sure Punjab will be more than happy to not let FC Goa get any sort of consistent flow to the game for themselves.
Here's Drazic. This took a massive deflection there.
What is that?
Ayush Chetri gives it back to Boris. Here's Sangwan. I'll probably overhit that completely.
Probably did, just trying to understand what he was trying to do there, because he was trying to find Drazic had to be to his feet. It wasn't for Dushan. That ball has to be a lot better.
Jingan 1, Effiong 0 in terms of duels in your counting. Tavora. And now Boris. Urge to carry the ball forward and finds Udanta into that gap for Dejan Drazic. Just sat up, bouncing in front of him for half a second. Thought that he would pull the trigger, take a risk. Now Chetri's pass has to be better weighted.
I think it's something on the ground for us that the ball seems to be bobbling a fair bit every time it's played along the floor. On that occasion it was Drazic with the ball just getting stuck between his feet, but even when he played it back to Ayush, you could see that bit of bobble coming in. Maybe the pitch also looks a bit slow, maybe it hasn't been watered enough, but it's the same for both these teams. They'll have to get used to it rather quickly if they want their first goal to be coming in this half.
Zelkovic picking up a deep position just between the centre backs, very much like Nikhil Prabhu. Wonder whether he likes to play there though. Zelkovic probably would want.
Not wanting to let FC go out of their own half, winning the ball up high and earning themselves a corner. Their first of the game.
Ramirez takes much better delivery straight to Ritik Tiwari on that occasion. Well played, Panjab. Great stop as well from Augustin. Bijoy from over the top. Ramirez waiting for Augustin to step in. Uves is another option. And this time it's a stronger cross. Effiong once again trying to improvise his fish.
Great pressure coming in from Punjab. First the corner delivery. You could see Uwais only get at the end of that, but straight in the hands of Ritik Tiwari, who tried to release a quick counter for Bryson, but great interception coming in from Leon. I'd love to see that finish that Effiong was trying. He loves a little back flick or a flick from behind his body to even outsmart the keeper on occasions, like he did in the previous game.
Zelkovic was quickly closed down by Ayush Chhetri. He's got to be slightly faster in moving the ball. Here he is again.
नेटवर्क का प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है भाई यार, आज का क्वालिटी ज़्यादा नहीं है।
Akash needs to make some decisions quicker. Just holding on to the ball too much, giving opportunities to Kipchak to just close him down and win the ball up high again. Punjab's doing a really good job on FC Goa to just win the ball up as high as they can. But every time that throw-in's coming in, I've seen that twice. If Effiong's going short, he needs runners in and around him to even play it first time.
Just clearing their lines at this point. Goa making sure that safety the first priority.
As I said earlier, Bulasta, if there's one team that can see out games and grind out results, even if it's a 1-0, it's a Manolo Marquez team. And that's exactly what, even if they have more ball possession, even if they have no shots on target, you can always expect the creativity of a Triya and Drazic to change the game to a 1-0, and FC Goa will be happy to take that home. Ball possession as of now as well is more with Punjab than FC Goa.
It's wonderful what kind of areas they're winning the ball back. And that's what's making it so difficult for Goa to come out of their own shell. Usually don't find it that difficult because teams sit back and let them have control of the football. Not Punjab, they're trying to create as many problems as possible. There's an example. But then once they win it, after the turnover, what they do, that's what counts. Skipton over the top. Just beaten away.
I think one of the reasons why they're finding it so difficult to get out of their own half is also the fact that it's got two sitters. Manolo Marquez has put Ayush Chhetri and Sahil Tavora who are very defensive minded, apart from the screamers that Sahil Tavora loves scoring. So with those two sitters and Dejan Drazic, the ball's not moving forward. Even with the likes of Bryson and Udanta, they're very tight. I think, having played in Delhi, I sort of understand this pitch. What needs to be done is just spread this pitch out as much as they can, and hopefully from there, just handle it. But in the meantime, Punjab moving the ball forward. Effiong has been doing a lot of work just trying to hold the play, but even with that, he has to make sure he's got runners, because the first 20-25 minutes of this game has been Punjab winning the ball up high, trying to create opportunities. Effiong's done a lot of his work in and around the box. The supply has not been too much. Punjab have had one shot, which is the header that's come from away. Apart from that, there's been nothing much for them in the attacking third. Bryson finally getting into the attack, but still no support. Ishan Pandita also hasn't had much to do apart from winning that corner against Bijoy. Kipchen's done a really good job of closing Bryson down, not being able to give him space much to move around. But yeah, as I was saying, Pulasta, earlier, Punjab have pressed FC Goa into their own half, and one of the reasons why they're finding it so difficult to get out of their own playing areas, because you've got Ayush Chetri and you've got Sahil Tawara, who pretty much the same player of defensive midfielders, and the gap as the game moves forward, you can see Dejan Drazic, Bryson, Ishan, and Utanta. Not there's that massive gap that they're not being able to convert from defense to attack. Again, as you can see, Ayush, every time he's on the ball, he's having to turn back because there's no options in front of him. And if they are, the gap is way too big.
I was just about to raise the point about them being very similar to each other in their profile. And it's just that unpredictability, the good kind of unpredictability that is missing in Goa's midfield. Here comes Sangwan with the ball in. The target was Chingan. He was caught between 4 orange shirts.
Defensively, Punjab FC are also quite tall. Present in the box with Bijoy, along with Pablo. Then you've got Uwais amongst the players as well. Young drops down to do his defensive duties. So they're not going to be the easiest team to beat with aerial battles and aerial duels during set pieces. So as you said, I think they need to find a bit of a spark of creativity right now with Ricky Shabong and Zelkovic in the middle of the park. FC Goa is getting no joy.
No shots yet. No touches in the opposition box yet. And that's more worrying because sometimes you can't get a shot away. That's fine, but when you can't enter the box or have a touch of the ball, that's the first one from Bryson. And you can see what happens when you get a touch in the box. Everyone gets attracted towards you. That's the kind of pressure that Goa need to start creating on a regular basis now in Punjab.
Definitely the ball finally getting whipped in. Bryson with that touch. A bit of a ricochet for Ishan Pandita. Didn't land for him. Bijoy doing very well to close him down rather quickly. And you rightly mentioned so that once it's in the box, players start being a little more aware and a little more cautious.
Chingan trying to hook that back in. Difficult technique, especially on his weaker side.
Maybe the way to beat this Punjab defense is get a second wave of attacks coming in rather than just whipping that ball in. Move them around a little bit. Play another shorter pass before you whip it in, because at the moment Punjab FC are very happy to deal with those deliveries that are whipped in first time into the box.
Just went out. Interesting how Arshdeep isn't taking the long goal kicks. Love how much Uwais and Lungdim try and stretch the play. Two fullbacks, always forward thinking. Heavy touch from Zelkovic. Once again, needs a little more guile in the middle of the park. Bryson first time. Clever idea. Sangwan possibly not ready for that.
It was just whipped in a little behind Akash Sangwan with too much weight on that. But plus, going back to the kicks that Arshdeep is not taking, something that maybe Nishan can do is just stand at the edge of the box when he knows that another player is taking it. Because once that ball's kicked, he can then enter that box and just make sure he's on the last defender. Because if it gets hooked back, he's not offside. And that gets him closer to the ground. Can't kick a ball, but he can definitely dribble a player.
Nice little pull back from him. Drazic and the flag had stayed down. In fact, just couldn't bring it back under control. We're just having a moment or two going forward, something to give them some confidence. Nothing too convincing, but at least they've quelled Punjab's pressure, which was building for the first 20 odd minutes.
You can already hear
Buka yan.
the parents on the sidelines.
Makin bakar ano ka to.
Not happy with the way his team's defending kicks, asking them to move forward. And exactly my point. Even when that goal kick's taken,
Onda koi kinago kita.
ask Punjab defense the question. Stand on the edge of the box as soon as it's kicked. Just get in.
Kipchen quickly for Ramirez. Turned into Paul Moreno. Of course, Goa coming into this on the back of 3 clean sheets in a row. Ricky Shabong. Kipchen. Into the gully for Effiong. First time effort. Wonderfully taken. At this point, everything he's touching is turning into goal. Enzo Pusi Jr. Effiong with a 4th straight goal. He has scored every goal for Punjab so far, and the trend continues. He is on a hot streak. It's 1-0 to Punjab against Goa.
Man seems to be on a mission. Punjab FC, the most likely team to score. Akash getting trapped between his feet, but not Effiong turning that ball, opening his body and curling it past Ritik Tiwari with his left foot, who had no chance. What a finish, what a clever finish. Just enough weight, enough power to get it past Ritik, who couldn't even get a fingertip to it. If any team, again I say this, was looking to score, it was Punjab. And this man's on a mission. Effiong, the machine, doesn't seem like he's going to stop. Getting Punjab their first goal of this game. The pressure finally pays off.
And we're going to show you that if that video was recording, it's going to make it into one of those content we really liked posts that the Indian Super League is putting up, because that is going to be a very good video to watch.
From the glimpses I saw, it was recording, so that clip right now is hot property. Does it go up now or does it go up at the end of the game?
But the pressure's paid off, and if you've seen the first 28 minutes, then it's a well-deserved lead. Punjab have been more adventurous. They've risked more bodies going forward. They've pressed hard. They've pressed in unison. They've come here with a plan, and they deserve a lead.
As I said, Pulastad, if Paris is a man who likes his numbers, if there's a thought lingering in his head that Punjab cannot beat an FC Goa, he'd love to be the man to change it. And they've done exactly that. They've come with a plan. They know how to press this team. They know their weakest links. Who are they? And they've pressured them. And finally, the results, the goals come in their favor.
And again, this is very nice because Uves is taking a much higher position than usual. Just wanting to win that header and bring Leon Augustine into the game. And has been working out. And maybe, Robin, it's because of the height difference between Uves and Boris, who is on that side, where he can win that aerial duel. Even if he does it 50% of the times, they manage to get possession in an attacking zone.
100%. That's what Punjab are doing while they go into the drinks break. They're making sure that the wingers on both ends are not given any time to run at them. And they've got the result of a goal with it.
Really well taken goal as well, which is the difference between the two teams. Manolo Marquez usually not that relaxed during a drinks break, especially after his side have conceded. There's just the technique involved in this, and it's so easy to get it wrong when you open your body like that and take it first time. If you take a touch, it's okay, Robin, you'd know. But hitting it first time like that, that's the difficult part.
100%. If you look at that ball and the whip and the curl on there is brilliant. He's dug it out from between his feet, and he's got it. Definitely, that's a show reel finish. It's definitely going to be a highlight reel somewhere, but at the moment, just in general, it's such a great finish. But it also shows you how confident this man is, because We've seen strikers letting it run across their body and trying to finish it with their right. But Effiong knows what he's about. Effiong believes in himself. He understands how good he is in and around the box. We were speaking about 1-0 towards Sandesh in the defense. He just moved away from him. You can blame Akash for not intercepting that ball, but then again, you can also ask the questions of Paul Moreno. Why did he close him down earlier? So it's also a lot of questions in his defensive duties, but that's the clever nature of Effiong. If he's not winning battles against Sandesh, he's drifted to the other side and he's got a reward for that.
They'll want more against a side like Goa. That 3-match clean sheet streak has been broken. Stolen by Ramirez. Very calmly done. Here's Lungdim.
Goa need to find a way to just get the hold of the ball, because at the moment Panjab, every time players from FC Goa have it, they're closing them down very quickly. Ishan tried to take a touch, he was surrounded by Panjab FC shirts all around him. They need to be able to move that ball quickly, find options. As I said, again, he takes a touch, gets intercepted, gets the ball taken away also.
Effiong up to third now in the goal scorers rankings. Here's Zelkovic. Effiong once more. The idea was brilliant. If only Zelkovic continued his run. Well, he's making a case for the ball to be played back to him. Effiong is telling him you could have kept running onto it. There's two different thought processes, but the execution is just
two parallel lines that never meet was the way that went through. Probably Effiong just wanted that run, as you said, to continue, but just cut in a little bit. Maybe set it up on his right foot for Samir to finish that ball. But just Samir Zelkovic just wanted it back to his feet to open it, maybe take a touch inside the box.
easy clearance for Pablo Santos and the Andrazic for the first time from a wide area. They've cut the supply to Goa's most creative player. Both Effiong and Andrazic started this game on 3 goals each in the ISL. Just taking a look at the mood on the touchline. Still a long way from counting any points. Both in Paris and even Manolo Marquez knows that his team have enough in them to come back. They possibly also miss Mohamed Nemil. He was that little factor. Here's Uwais down the left. Now Effiong, Ramirez. Shabong from deep. Bryson. Giving almost like a gladiatorial feel now to this game with the music playing. Paul Moreno as Goa try to create something meaningful. Lungdim has taken it away. Here's Effiong, it's 3v3. The ball switched out wide for Danny Ramirez. And still Ramirez. This one is tame and easy for Hrithik to deal with. Ayush Chetri. Now Tavora. Drazic. What a neat little exchange between Lungdim and Ramirez. And Lungdim will continue his run forward. Ramirez has found Effiong. Dancing into the box and just bullies himself. Sandesh Chingan and Paul Moreno both to take that shot. He's just a striker with so much confidence right now.
That's a good shot coming in. Had time to just pick that ball up, Kipchen, and test Hrithik Tiwari. Luckily it wasn't on target to trouble him, but an absolute beast of a man, Effiong inside the box. Sheer power pulling Sandesh off the ball. Trying to get that shot off. Luckily, Sandesh's tackle took the power off it. Straight into the hands of Hrithik, but I say this again, FC.
Yellow card comes out. First one of the night for Ayush Chetri. There's the foul. That's an easy decision for the ref.
There's only one way to stop him. Probably with the rising weather condition, the summer heating coming into the northern part of the country, just wanted a piggyback ride back to his position.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Just asking for a piggyback ride. Anything as a midfielder not to make that run through. No defender, no midfielder loves running back.
Uves set free by Zelkovic. Took a little touch on the way, it seems. Just kept in by Lungdim. Kipchen now. FC Goa just cannot get the ball out of those danger areas. Kipchen again. Cleared away straight to Ramirez. Panjab bossing it.
This is where Ishan has to do better. If he, as soon as he drops into the midfield to win that ball up, you're helping the defenders, especially the centre backs for Panjab, to just follow him into the midfield, win that ball up higher. And if he does drop into that midfield, he needs to be doing a better job to hold it up as a number 9 or as the striker playing with your back against the goal. He needs to be doing better. He needs to be playing a lot more higher. Let Dejan Drazic get on the ball. The more he plays on the last man's shoulder, which is his strength to run behind defenders, the more questions will be asked of Punjab's defence, and they will have to stay back a lot more.
Well, Effiong stayed down. And they'll be hoping it's nothing too serious. He's clutching his hamstring. From the reaction of those around him, it looks like a cramp. After losing Suhail, who's on the bench, of course he's available. Nikhil Prabhu as well. They can't really afford to lose Effiong. Which also brings us to this point, and it's so difficult sometimes to replace a character like Luka Marchan, someone who scores goals, makes himself heard in the dressing room as well, and the numbers of Goa, no shots, nothing on target. But Punjab have done a very good job of scouting someone who's as hungry and has made a really good start to his ISL career.
100% a great replacement for Luka Machin in the likes of F. Young. But we also have to see, when I was just going through the numbers of what he's done previously, he's probably played 6 games last season, no goals, no assists. He's come in, 4 goals, 4 assists. Yes, he's having a better season, but cramping up in 40 minutes also asks questions of your fitness levels. So that's another thing that F. Young has to be, just a little careful of. Punjab has to be a little careful of. Yes, you're in that momentum to score goals, but in a season as short as this, maybe game time management is something that Punjab will have to look at. If there are games where he can be rested, or if there are games where a Suji can be started and he comes on as one of the leaders in the second half, or just in case needed, maybe that's another idea. That also creates competition between the two strikers.
It's much better play from Ramirez as well. And for the first time, we can say he's imposing himself in midfield. Just making sure that the ball is moving from side to side, but in an attacking way. He's progressing the ball as well. He's keeping Goa moving, keeping them guessing. And that's what so many teams find difficult to do. Keep them guessing. And Goa always seem to know what's going to happen next. And a lot of that is obviously because of Manolo Marquez, and one of his unique selling points as a coach is knowing that this can happen. He's got this great knack. Punjab have broken through that in this game so far and surprised them instead. Refreshing. As Ramirez picks it up again. He's got Kipchun for company just behind him. A little too eager, the winger. Ramirez trying to win it back, but committing a foul in the process.
Ramirez clearly thinks it's a dive from Bryson inside the box. Bryson did lose the ball just here. But Ramirez also clearly using his arms to pull Bryson aside to get onto the ball. But yes, I think something that Manolo Marquez is really good at is a pattern of play, and also risk management. He tries to cut off the other team's risks and how they can hurt him and hurt his team. But with a finish like that came in from F. Young, it's brilliant to see that even somebody like a Din Paris is studying his opponents, likes his numbers, likes to compete with the best of the best, has mutual respect for his opponent coach, but also wants to find ways to beat them. And in the first 43 minutes, he's clearly found a way.
Here's Uves. I clearly didn't read Del Peris's pre-match press conference. Uves, he's asked for faster decision making from those crossing areas. Uves taking his time, and then the moment was lost. So much potential. If only he thought a little and was a little more risky, just backed himself a little to send in a cross earlier, then Mohamed Uves could be way more effective than he is right now.
I think all in all, he just needs to be quicker with his decision making, with the way he plays. He's got the physicality, he's got the engine to go up and down that wing for 90 plus minutes. But just that quick thinking, and also maybe a lot more belief in his abilities, because he's a great fullback.
Oh, this is good work. Udanta finally turning a man after taking it up from Drazic. Boris was tracked all the way by Leon Augustin and then just bundled Ricky Shabong away to get a corner.
Great physicality shown from Boris. Just pushing Ricky Shabong out of the way to earn his side a corner in these dying moments of the first half. Definitely Manolo Marquez will want to go into this half, and that whole team talk might just change if FC Goa can get something back before the half-time whistle.
Just 2 minutes added on. Drazic. Ricky Shabong trying to make life difficult. Drazic still manages to send that in, but it was too soon. for advantage to continue. That's why Goa have a free kick.
The linesman raised half a flag for that foul on Drazic, hoping that they can continue, but yes, clearly so the advantage wasn't there. The cross getting blocked, but a similar position now again for Fc Goa to find their way back in this first half.
Drazic whipped in for Sandesh Chingan to try and head. It's just a little too high for him. Effiong decided to control and then clear.
Definitely just a cramp. Cleared it with the same leg as far as possible. Maybe a sigh of relief as well from the Bears to just know that his man in form is just feeling a bit cramped up.
Sangwan can't get it over Bijoy. Tavora left by Chetri and then recollected only to be fouled by Ramirez, and this time it's closer and someone's going to fancy a shot from here for Goa.
Most likely should be Drazic to take that free kick. Ramirez just trying to win that ball, but just a little over eager in front of Ayush Chetri to win it, and Crystal Jol blowing for a free kick. Not much time left, probably the last action of the first half.
And Paul Moreno also in the mix. Drazic, in fact, walking away from this. So a centre-back free kick specialist. You don't see many of those. As Paul Moreno lines it up. Took a little nick off the wall and goes out for a corner. And Del Peris is asking the referee how much more time is going to be added on, because we've crossed 3 minutes already from the minimum of 2 which were added on.
Crystal Johnny wants 2 minutes of play. Now probably it will be the last action of the game.
Sangwan. Oh! And the last action almost resulting in an own goal. It came off of Ovais's head in the end and then struck the crossbar and went out. It could have been a bit of a disaster, especially after Panjab played ever so well. Here it is. Ovais was just standing there and just deflected it onto the woodwork.
Just the ball just pinballing inside that Panjab FC half, and luckily for Ovais, it didn't end up in the back of his net.
Also at half-time, Effiong with the 4th goal in the ISL. It means Panjab are 1-0 up against Goa. that's the difference between the two teams, or between the teams rather. But if you take a look at the highlights, then you'll know that Punjab looking like the better team. They made a better start. We pressed a different way tonight with a different attitude and a different feel. The first corner went Goa's way. You can see that they didn't have a lot of players to affect play going forward. It was very different from Punjab as Effiong went out wide for the first real attack on a corner from his team. Ramirez swung it in, and this one went straight at Ritik Tiwari. He would be so lucky later on. And this is the goal. Kipchin with a nice slide rule through ball into the feet of Effiong, who took it first time. No touch required. Just lofted it past Ritik Tiwari's long reach. A few other moments as well when he could have been more effective, but just look at his technique and strength. Strength alone does not make a player. It's also the technical ability. Got a little lucky as it came off Jingan's boot, but then he's giving him a proper run for his money when it comes to winning those physical duels. Goa could have had an equalizer with this last play. The ball deflected off Uves and onto the crossbar. That closes. They have got 0 shots on target, and they didn't even have an attempt for the first half an hour. As for Effiong, he's been operating in all the right areas. He's got 5 shots on target so far in the ISL. 4 of them have hit the back of the net, and that is a fantastic return for Punjab's new number 9. Let's take a look at his statistics as well. A couple of shots, a goal, lots of recoveries. And that's what you want from your striker as well, especially when the team is pressing from the front. Well, if Effiong is doing the job up front, then Bijoy has kept things steady at the back. Hasn't really given a sniff to Drazic or Ishan Bandita. Has some decent distribution as well, as he plays at the top level alongside Pablo Santos, who also seems very untroubled so far. Unchanged backline, of course, for Dylan Paris in all his games, and this is the reason why they're all delivering when it matters. As for Jingan, he's been kept very busy. Smart movement from Ramirez, Leon Augustin, and even Effiong means that Goa's rock at the back has been tested. And most of the times he always passes those tests. And he'll be relishing this kind of battle. However, he'd like to see it being matched by the players playing up front for the Goas. Always involved. There'll be more duels coming up as Punjab will push for a second goal. A pace on bench along with creativity for Panjab Paris in the form of Mohamed Suhail. Wonder how many minutes he has in him. And of course, there's a few youngsters he can bring on for Manolo Marquez. Wonder whether he'll be tempted to bring on Abdul Rabi, who's been looking good when he's come on in the last couple of appearances.
Net ban jalan apa?
Akan dia saya bangsa. Jauh kena.
Lima mentero capai dan net.
Kar coba akan coba ah. Kau yang dah coba.
Mama gaming खेला
Hah?
मार दे तीन ओए kayak untuk kamu kayak itu पंजाब वर्सेस FC Goa
Nada mengolah kau dia. Siapa yang bakal lepas? Ini rekan apa?
Welcome back. This is the kind of display that the fans in Delhi would have wanted to watch. Punjab still trying to capture the imagination of the capital city, and something like this is what will give them the encouragement to do exactly that. The Shares have put on a fine display. They have been roaring when it comes to the press that they've applied on Goa. Simply haven't let them play. And it might not be a template, Robin, which every team can follow. It's not easy to do. Sometimes you've got to do it in phases. You need stamina, youngsters. A lot of things have to work in unison for a press to work. But it has happened for Punjab, and they've taken heart from the fact that they're winning the ball in the right areas and converting it into shooting opportunities at least.
Absolutely. I think what's great to see is the fact that they're moving the ball forward, and then they're trying to press FC Goa into their own half. I think one of the reasons FC Goa keeps losing the ball so much is the fact that Ayush and Sahil are the same players, and then Ishan Pandita is dropping way far back down beyond Dejan Drazic. So before Drazic could get onto the ball, you've got Ishan Pandita who's already losing the ball. I think that number 10 position has to be let alone for Dejan Drazic to just operate and push the defense back as much as Ishan can, because he's amazing at making those runs in the channel. Do what you're good at. Do the simple things right, in my opinion, and FC Goa might be able to find a way back into this game.
Well, two changes already at half time. There is not something Manolo Marquez does very often, but Rainier Fernandez has come on along with Abdul Rabi. And the first to have made way. Ishan Pandita is off. That's one of them. Which means Dejan Drazic can now play as a striker or a false nine because he drops slightly deeper. That allows Rabi and Bryson to go forward and getting behind. Ayush Chaitra is the other player to have made way. So Rainier and Sahil Devora, that midfield combination makes more sense. It's exactly the same point you were making, Robin, earlier.
I think so. You've got a team like Punjab, who also got 2 sitters. I think the number should be in that Punjab FC half. They need to ask questions of Ricky Shabong and even Zelkovic, who's been, I would say, haven't an easy day. They haven't had much trouble even every time they're on the ball, and every time they're off the ball, they've done a very good job to close the likes of Ayush Chetri and Sahil Tavora down. One of the reasons why probably Ayush got a card was the frustration.
Too high to make anything of that opportunity place. Almost putting the ball into the back of his own net without really being at fault right at the end of the first half. But fortunately for him and Punjab, that didn't happen. Remarkable defensive work as well right from the front for Punjab, because the statistic, Goa have had the most shots blocked per game after Mohun Bagan Super Giant. What that means is, despite losing the likes of Gorachena and Severio and Borja Herrera, 3 players who didn't need a second invitation to shoot, as we look at some fireworks on the pitch, they've continued to have chances to shoot, and Punjab have kept them quiet. Everyone needs to be a little quiet right now as well on the pitch.
I think it will be interesting to see what Crystal John does here. Paul Moreno did not go down, but this is how it all started. Effiong trying to make that run, gets stopped by Paul Moreno, and he wasn't really happy with the way he was stopped. The first push coming in, and then the headbutt coming in as well.
Oh, he's been sent off. He's been sent off. And these are the two sides of the same coin. One fantastic finish, a reactionary finish in the previous game as well, and now a reaction which sees red. And it was a nothing challenge from Paul Moreno, and probably Effiong knows that. And what have Punjab done here?
I think, yes, he was fouled the first push, but it just landed him into the referee's book with a yellow card. But Effiong, you can say, overconfident, just being, just the rush of blood to his head. And Effiong has an early shower to deal with. A man in form, a man confident of his abilities, a man that Panjab FC would trust in to get all the goals. But that one decision has led him to an early shower. Now Manolo Marcus will think maybe this is that silver lining we needed, because they've been second best throughout this game. Maybe that's the maturity that Vin Perez needed from his striker that's been firing on all guns.
It's a massive letdown for the squad, because it's not just this game. There's going to be a longer ban. You're going to miss the next one for sure, and maybe more. And for an already depleted attack, they have Osuji on the bench, but he's not firing on all cylinders like Effiong is. It's a fascinating reaction from someone who's played at the highest level for a number of years now.
Absolutely, the maturity that you were looking for from somebody like an Effiong, clearly out the window. Yes, he's going to miss the next game, the next 2. But if that gets turned into the next 3, then he even misses the game against Mohun Bagan, which makes things quite interesting, because the next 2, you'd probably think, with all due respect to Kerala Blast and Mohammedan Sporting, that Punjab will get a win. But the player that's got all of their goals this season will not be available. So now it turns out to be a lot more in terms of the responsibility and which player takes it in the absence of Effiong.
After what was one of the most precious first half performances from Punjab, they've just started off the second one by seeing their star striker get sent off. Now Goa will have more of the ball, more control, and Punjab will have to go into a defensive shape, and not just that, even a mindset. It's taken away from Trazic by Lungdim's studs.
You can can already see in this second half, Pulasta, that FC Goa are playing beats after the red card, where Punjab FC are already thinking about setting those two low blocks and making it difficult for FC Goa. Hopefully that's not the case, and it's FC Goa who playing a higher line, but they can still hurt Goa with the pace of Leon and Kipcham on the counter attack.
Swung in by Sangwan, confident defending by Bijoy Verghese. Here's Sandesh Chingan. Got a nice turn on him. And now this ball, which Ramirez should have controlled better.
Ramirez with that touch that was longer than he expected, and Rainier taking no prisoners, just clearing that ball out. And also Ramirez just feeling the afters of that. Maybe a trailing leg or a leg just being left.
Nice touch this. And that's a really bright idea for Lung to chase. Udanta has enough pace in him. And Lungdim's contributions at both ends of the pitch. He's got the most number of tackles made for Punjab. He's also got the most number of fouls committed and the most number of fouls suffered. And a host of crosses which have not gone unnoticed. Punjab will do very well to keep him as well on the roster for beyond this season. At the same time, Dilper is also thinking of changes. Meanwhile, Drazic through the middle. Wonderful technique. What a finish from Dejan Drazic. And Goa did not take long to find the equalizer after Punjab's red card. Outside of the boot, flair and finesse. And Dejan Drazic is up to 4 goals in the ISL as well. It's 1-1 in Delhi.
Punjab definitely feeling the lack of their number 9 up front. And Dejan Drazic taking the advantage of exactly that. Rainier coming on, playing that ball through towards Bryson. Bryson with the pick up the turn and then finding Dejan Drazic, the other man in form for FC Goa, takes a touch and then with the outside of his foot just curls it past Arshdeep. A brilliant finish and shows you what a man with the momentum behind him, with the confidence behind him, just finishes it past Arshdeep to get FC Goa back in this game. A man less Punjab, now back on level terms, hoping that they don't lose this game with a man down. And that goal from Efi Yong and the equalizer from Dejan Drazic and the red card from Efi Yong now. How heavy of a price does Punjab pay for it?
It's just immaturity at the top level sometimes. And probably Dil Paris will also admit that. At the same time, while all the celebrations were going on, Usuji's come on for Ramirez. So they have a focal point, Punjab now. And we wonder what they can produce if, Usuji is offside. But Dil Paris is not the only head coach that is speaking about this. Juan Pedro Banali has spoken so much about this as well. The maturity factor, the mentality to have on the pitch when a team is doing well, especially when you're not doing well and you have to fight back. As we look at that replay, it is expected for players to come out of the shell and do something. But when you're doing well, when you have the lead, when you have control of the game, and then you let it slip with a silly decision like that, that's the example we're watching tonight from Punjab.
I think a way to look at it is, Pulasta, when you're losing, it's about character. How strong your character is to come out of that lull or that hole. And then it's about maturity when you're doing well. And they go hand in hand together when you want to do well consistently. You have to show character, you have to show maturity. And that's what Efi Yong had to show. He's got 4 goals to his name. And where's that maturity and character that I am one of their leaders, I need to stay on the pitch. Yes, you get tackled as a striker. You're going to get hit all the time. How many times do you want to react? It's a defender's job, without saying, to get underneath your skin. And Paul Moreno surely got underneath Efi Yong's skin to be sending him for an earlier shower.
And it wasn't by design. It was a coming together, a little shove. As a big number 9, you'd possibly relish that kind of a challenge against the centre back. It's going to happen for 90 minutes. And it's difficult to not fixate on the red card as a turning point because of how well Punjab were playing. But here we are, 10 minutes into the second half. Goa have pulled a goal back. It's 1-1 again. And they've become favourites now to win this. It doesn't look like good news is coming towards Dilperis for quite some time, especially when it comes to injuries. Pablo Santos, as the physio just signalled, will have to come off due to a hamstring strain. That's what it looks like. Immediate orders to replace him.
He had that hamstring strapped up, as you can still see a slight bit of that bandage underneath those shots, but you're just going to hope that Punjab, after playing so well in the first 45 minutes, that red card does not send them crumbling like a house of cards next. You got Effiong who's gone out now. You got Pablo feeling his hamstring. Doctor straight away signalling for a change. And then Perez will now definitely ask for maturity and character from everybody that comes on. In this occasion, it's Mitai that's going to be coming on for Pablo.
Now Suresh Mitay, who was a mainstay last season. It's a chance for him to become Bijoy's long-term centre-back partner in case Pablo Santos has a longer layoff. Handball not given. Massive gap now between Osuji, Leon Augustine and Punjab's midfield.
But that gap's also because FC Goa aren't pressing high. Kodasta, if you look at this setup, you've got Moreno and Sandesh in their own half defending a couple of yards, I'd say about 15 to 10 yards. And then on fourth, you've got the midfield and the attackers. So that gap for even FC Goa is way too big to be defending. They need to be pressing higher up.
Zelkovic slides in, Osuji's on his own. Tavora strong enough to just take him off balance. As we look at the race for the Golden Boot, McLaren favourite with 7. Effiong and Drazic on 4. Both scored in this game.
Seems like a great battle building up on that Golden Boot chart as well. Effiong just seemed like he was on momentum, scoring in every game that came his way. But now the red card will definitely put a pause to it, hoping that when he's back, he comes back in the same form that he's gone out in. A little more calmer in his head for sure.
Ezajari is also in the mix, and he'll be watching that table and he'll be wondering if he could have had more. A couple of gilt-edged chances which have gone begging for East Bengal as well. Sangwan's delivery, Udanta with a lot of time at the near post. Rose very well, got a lot of power on the header, but probably too much power in the end.
You can now see cracks appearing in this defense line for Punjab. Udanta on that near post got more than enough power behind it, but just could not turn it goalwards. Great delivery towards the near post, just could not keep it on target.
Osuji. Bryson. He's getting more space at the back now. Attacking Punjab. Sangwan once more. Early diagonal. Had to fall between the two centre-backs where Drazic was.
Manolo Marquez wanting Rabi to make that run towards the far post, making sure that all areas of that cross are covered. Maybe he wasn't even aware already with the fact that Akash with an early delivery might just be able to find one of his teammates. But now FC Goa seem to be finding space to play in the middle of the park and then move the ball into dangerous areas, especially behind the fullbacks for Punjab.
Half an hour for Team Paris to make sure that at least a point comes from this game. It's too good a performance in the first half to come away with nothing.
As I said for last half, Paris will be hoping after that card everything doesn't come crumbling down for Punjab. They'll want to get something out of this game.
Must be tempting to try and send on Suhail, but at the same time, could be a risk. We don't really know how serious that shoulder injury is.
I think the game plan seems to be fairly simple from Punjab. They want to soak up the pressure that FC Goa will try to create onto them and then hit them on the counter as much as possible. Asuji being the furthest man at the back or at the front, and then trying to hit them with the likes of Augustine and Kipchen.
Sangwan. Grenier. Udanta. Dejan Drazic, and how has he missed that? Free with no one in front or alongside him. No pressure all the time in the world, and somehow he's missed the target completely.
Udanta on this occasion whips a dangerous ball in. Dejan Drazic with his movement had acres of space inside the box, time as well, but just could not keep it on target. He can't believe himself either. Manolo can't believe himself either. FC Goa can't believe that he's not on the score sheet again.
Good changes though from Goa at half-time. It's really added a different dynamism on the pitch.
But Pulasta, when you look at this table, FC Goa on fourth with 9 points. They'd want to get a win here just to edge themselves closer into the top 3 of this table. They want to get something out of here, and with a man less and the pressure that now FC Goa are putting on Punjab, they'd want those 3 points. Definitely want those 3 points.
Haven't really done anything wrong at the back. Of course, they've come under pressure. Man down. But up until that point, they did look like a side which is hardly conceded. 3 games, not as much of a sample size as one would like in a league season. They've been unfortunate with the first game being postponed and a little late start for them.
Understood, but it also gives you an opportunity to